Hello, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of Pod-ket Monsters, a Pokemon podcast. I'm Jeff Grizz Ullrich, and I'm joined by my good buddy Dustin Cunningham.
Hi, everybody.
On this week's episode, we are going to talk about Pokemon Journeys, the most recent series of the Pokemon anime that has 3 parts on Netflix. Obviously, it's going to, in the grand scheme of things, is just one season that they've split into 4 parts, but regardless, it's got 3 parts under the belt so far, with the 4th arriving in just a few short weeks in March. So one thing is for certain in this episode, there will be at least one 30-plus-year-old man who was overly critical about a show that stopped being made for him almost 2 decades ago.
Yeah.
But first, how are you, Dustin?
I'm good. I just got off work not too long ago. Was finishing help Heidi set up a desk. Just finished dinner. And excited to talk about Pokemon. There's some cool stuff that happened. Honestly, when we were talking about this episode, when we were about to record earlier this week, talking about it, I wasn't sure there was going to be a whole lot to talk about. And then today there was like
a lot of stuff came up.
Yeah. So it's kind of exciting.
Well, so then, yeah, let's get into it. We're going to start with some news. Which I think is what we're going to be doing going forward for most of the episodes, is we'll catch you up on any of the Pokemon-related news in the previous week. So the news that we have so far in this week is the first thing we have is regarding the Pokemon cards that come in the McDonald's Happy Meals right now. You may have heard that they have been very popular, and not just with kids, but with a bunch of old people collecting them just to sell them online, and it's making it so these scalpers are making it so it's impossible for children to actually get their hands on these cards,
which is a huge bummer.
Did you go out and get a Happy Meal, Dustin?
No, I haven't. I'm currently finishing my Whole30 diet right now. Tomorrow is actually my last day, so after that, we're gonna kind of ease back into food, but I would like to go this weekend I just want to get one. I'm not out here trying to rob kids of their joy. I just want one pack just so that I can have just say that I got that one pack.
Yeah, I've thought about going to get one myself. I'm also on a diet.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure that actually the serving sizes of Happy Meal would probably fit in okay in my overall diet, as long as I wasn't planning on eating 6 Happy Meals.
It's probably 6 French fries at this point.
Yeah. Oh my God, they get smaller every time I've seen one. Do
they get smaller, or are we getting bigger?
I mean, definitely a combination of the both. But I just remember, as a kid, the small French fries is what a medium French fries is now, and the ones that came in the Happy Meal were what the small is now. And now in the Happy Meal, I don't know if you get just a small or, like you said, 3 French fries. Regardless. McDonald's did help make American kids fat, so probably good that they're taking some steps to prevent that in the future. Kudos on that front. But yeah, I didn't go out and get the Happy Meal just yet because, 1, not eating Happy Meals, and then 2, because I'm seeing this news about how hard it is for kids to get their hands on these, and they're the ones who actually want it. Or even not just kids, but normal, everyday Pokemon card collectors.
Yeah.
Of which we established last week that we are not.
Yeah, honestly though, ever sinse we had that conversation,
oh my God, I wanted to buy them so bad.
You have no idea how hard it's been. I fell down this rabbit hole recently. There's a YouTuber, Leonhardt is his name, and he does he basically opens packs, and he's got a bunch of the original first edition packs and stuff like that, and he has videos where he shows his whole collections. But he had one where he was opening the McDonald's packs, because I don't think he went and screwed over a bunch of kids. I'm pretty sure that he just gets sent them because he's he has 1.3 million followers. So I'm pretty sure they just send him cards and stuff. But yeah, so I watched him unbox open some of the McDonald's ones, but I've been watching, I'm hooked, Jeff. Recently, all I've been doing is watching him open these. On my breaks at work, I'll sit there and I'll watch a video and
Do you get some
I've fallen down this rabbit?
What is what do you get? What is it that you get from that? Because I know unboxing videos are huge, but I've never fully understood the appeal.
I think for me with these ones specifically, it's a nostalgia thing.
Yeah,
because he'll open the original Jungle packs, which were I remember those packs being the ones they had like a forest on them, like, or a jungle on them, and they'll have like Scyther on the front or whatever. And so he's opening those, and then like the Neo Genesis, which is when Gen 2 came out, it was like the set that you could get like Lugia in and stuff like that. And so he's like opening these old packs that I remember opening as a kid. So it's like, and I don't know why, but I want to watch somebody else like get rare cards. It's weird.
Yeah, for me that would infuriate me.
Yeah,
to see like some rando guy get the, I guess they're not random. They are, collectors, but see them get the card I want. I'm not going to be happy about that. Maybe I'm just selfish.
I just fell down this hole so hard, and like it's all I've been doing. I've watched so many videos in the past week, but it has kind of sparked that.
As long as you're getting into Pokemon cards, let's talk about the next bit of news that we have. The next Pokemon TCG video game and Pokémon Tournament DX World Championships have been moved to London for 2022. I personally haven't watched any of the card tournaments or even the Pokémon tournaments, but I have watched some video game tournaments in the past, and I didn't get into the habit of watching them all the time because they are, again, it's a little repetitive, and Pokemon is a game that's much more exciting when you're either following an entire journey with someone or you're playing the game yourself. So watching those tournaments hasn't been super exciting for me because I'm never like, oh wow, I can't believe he thought to do that just now. It's like, no, that makes sense. That's the right move there.
Yeah. I think I'm in a similar boat. I've maybe checked out a few few of the competitive like games, more so like just like people playing Sword and Shield or like Sun and Moon, whatever game it happens to be at the time. But I don't really care too much to watch other people play competitively in Pokemon. I think we talked about this last time as well too, but I've never really been into the competitive side. Like I don't really care too much to like have the strongest Pokemon to fight somebody online. I'd rather just play through the game, beat the Elite Four, do all that, maybe battle like friends I know, but even then it's just for fun.
Yeah. Well, and I do see that we had a message in our chat because we are streaming this live in addition to recording for the podcast. Our friend Jackson brought up a good point he mentioned the Szechuan sauce from McDonald's. When Rick and Morty made a big deal out of the Szechuan sauce. It's the same thing again. People just can't let people get the stuff from McDonald's. Give us a break.
Yeah, people are gonna ruin this as well, and Pokemon is now going to be tied to another controversy with McDonald's.
Love it.
But
yeah, so as far as the tournaments getting moved, that's, if you're into that sort of thing, that's great. Hopefully by 2022, it is safe for people to travel and to, congregate.
That was going to be my last thing on the topic, is I think this is the smartest decision. Like, we shouldn't be doing live events or anything in person like this for a while. If they were going to do it all online, like for the video games, then I could see that. But you shouldn't have people in a room that are sitting 3 feet away from each other playing or battling in Pokemon cards. It just seems really unsafe.
Yeah, no, I
wear
completely
mask,
agree.
wash your hands, everybody.
But speaking of good socially distant Pokemon games, our next bit of news is regarding Pokemon Go. The Pokemon Go Lunar New Year event is going on now, which, so hopefully you've been participating all week, because if not, it is going to be tough for you to complete all the challenges in the remaining days.
I feel like a bad fan because I didn't even know that was happening, and I've just been so busy with work, I have not got to play around at all with it, but I
knew it was happening, and I really haven't done. I think I probably played for like an hour this morning. I just popped an incense and then just caught whatever came for an hour.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that with this Lunar New Year event, you're completing the challenges to get encounters with Miltank and Tauros, of course, because it's the year of the bull.
Yeah.
Unsurprising there. But the real benefit for me in this is that when you complete these challenges, you also can get Mega Gyarados energy, and if you haven't been playing Pokemon Go a whole lot, you aren't aware of how they handle Mega Evolutions. I mean, have you encountered any Mega Evolutions yet, Dustin?
I think I started that, like, when Mega Evolutions got introduced, I started that quest line, and you're supposed to get, like, a certain amount of Mega...
Beedrill.
Is it Mega? Yeah, Mega Beedrill, and I don't even think I finished it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is that those challenges were not easy in the first place.
Yeah.
But then, like, in addition to that, you know, the biggest way you get mega energy is by participating in mega raids. And, you know, unfortunately, and you know, you're in a small town, and you know, I'm also staying at home as much as possible. So even if I were able to go out into my town, which is of decent size, I wouldn't. But it's made doing these raids a little harder.
Didn't they add the raid passes, though, to kind of...
So you could do remote raids, but someone has to invite you to the raid if you can't see it on your map. So the fact of the matter is that most of my friends in the area either stopped playing Pokemon Go a long time ago, or they still play, but you know, they're like me where they, you know, play when they can. When they're out, they'll spin a Pokestop, but they're not going out and doing the raids every day like we used to. Because I seriously, it used to be every day after work. I would go, you know, find whatever raid was nearby, and there would always be like 10 people, you know, there, you know, waiting to do that raid. And I would just travel with that group from one destination to the next and hit up all those raids.
Back when you could be around random people and not have to worry about your health.
But, you know, even before the pandemic, I had fallen off on that a little bit just because it's a lot going, you know, keeping up with all that. And for a while, it just felt like, okay, well, do I really need a 30th, you know, Thundurus? No.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
I never really fell too hard into the raids, mainly because I didn't have a group to play with. Like you said, I'm in a small town, so it's like I would have to go to one of the nearby towns, and the closest one that's more populated that I'd be able to do it at is like 20 miles away. So it's kind of just like a trip to do it. And so I'm more so just like, I mainly just play Pokemon Go when I'm out and about. Like if I'm walking my dog or if I'm out at Costco or something like that, I'll pull it up and see what Pokemon are around.
But the thing I was driving
casual Pokemon player.
Yeah. The thing I was driving at was that it's hard to get the Mega Energy unless you do those Mega Raids. So this event is actually a good way to get the Mega Gyarados energy because the challenges aren't that hard. You have to, most of them are like catch so many Fire-type Pokemon, transfer this many Pokemon, you know, like the standard stuff, but they're not undoable in a short period of time. So it's a good way to get some Mega Gyarados energy if you're like me and aren't able to get out and get the Mega Energy the way that you're supposed to.
Does that end this weekend?
That ends this weekend, yeah. Three days from now.
Maybe I'll try it out. Maybe I'll hop in a couple times.
Yeah, do it. And then you can invite me to a raid if you happen upon a Mega Gyarados raid. You know, send me an invite.
Oh yeah, I'll need the help.
More Pokemon Go news. On February 14th through the 18th, they're having their annual Valentine's Day event. And this year they are introducing Munna and Masharna. And I've never been confident in the pronunciations of either of those Pokemon names. Muna?
No, I mean, me neither. They're definitely not Pokemon that I'm like super familiar with in general. I know what Pokemon they are.
Yeah, of course.
But, like at first it took me like reading the name and I was like, oh yeah, that's who those are.
Definitely not in the forefront of my mind.
Yeah,
on a regular basis.
It's cool though. I mean, I think any sort of events is a cool thing to do, especially for Pokemon Go.
And it's the first chance you have to catch them. So
something new for people to do in the game that has been out for
2016
4 years. Yeah.
So I mean, anytime they introduce new Pokemon in Pokemon Go, like you need to jump in and catch those while they're giving them out like candy. Because after they're no longer part of the event, now it's just a crapshoot if you ever see that Pokemon again.
Yeah, that's very true.
You want to talk about this next piece of news?
Yeah. I was gonna segue to that as well too.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, so the next bit of news is news that was announced earlier today. They are having, as part of the Pokemon 25th anniversary celebration, Post Malone will be performing a virtual concert.
What?
I mean,
my favorite part of the whole reveal, if you guys haven't seen the reveal thing for this, it's really good because like you don't even know what it's going to be until it becomes Pokemon, but it's just that he becomes a video game character, like, and he gets animated, and I'm just like, okay, like I'm not the biggest Post Malone fan, but like I'm all about this like 25th anniversary year Pokemon music thing going on.
I mean, yeah,
so.
there's a couple of Pokemon
I'll be watching it
songs
for sure
that I've enjoyed. So like,
yeah,
that's cool. But weird pick in my mind.
yeah.
I mean, I imagine that Post Malone probably has played a lot of Pokemon because I know he plays games.
That's how I felt when the Katy Perry thing was announced at first too. I felt like that was a weird pick because I don't really follow Katy Perry, but it didn't strike me as she was someone that like is a diehard Pokemon fan, which you don't have to be to do this, but it did catch me off guard. The two people so far being Katy Perry and Post Malone. I'm very curious who else they have for this. Like who else is going to be throughout, because they said that they're going to be revealing more artists for this, right? As time goes on, like for this Pokemon 25th anniversary soundtrack or whatever they're doing.
They did. So I guess so far we have Post Malone and Katy Perry are involved with this. But in addition to Posty giving us a performance, we're also going to be getting some more announcements.
Yeah, that was the big thing. So does that mean that starting like that week, so not this coming up week, but the week after, if anyone's wondering, we're recording this on February 11th. The Pokemon Day is on the 27th. So is it that whole week leading up to that Saturday that they're going to be doing announcements, or?
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah, I was a little confused because to me, it just seemed like they would just announce everything on that one day. But if they're going to do it throughout the week, that's
I suppose really if you spread out the announcements, then you're not cannibalizing your own audience's attention span.
Yeah.
Because just as a for instance, if they announced a Pokemon remake and they also announced a release date for Pokemon Unite in the same day, then all anyone's going to talk about is the Pokemon remake. And Unite
that's very
gets
true.
brushed under the rug. So, it makes sense to spread out some of these announcements.
Also, real quick too, for viewers, I just wanted to let you guys know that we are doing a predictions episode next week. So we're not really gonna focus too much on predictions this week of what we think is gonna happen. Next week we'll do a whole episode. Like that'll be the topic of next week's episode, is our predictions for the Pokemon week leading up into Pokemon Day.
Precisely. And are we able to announce?
I'd let people know. We have confirmation that he's going to be on it, so we can definitely announce.
So we're also going to be joined by our friend Mike Towndrow of 6-1 Indie fame.
Yeah,
yes, very excited to have him with us. He is honestly one of the biggest Poke fans I know.
Yes. Yep. I love talking about Pokemon with Mike, so I'm very, very excited that he'll be on.
And I bet he's going to have some great predictions. He's going to be way better at predictions than I am for sure. And I think it's
all going to be so much fun.
He's been doing, prediction shows and things with, 6-1 Indie back when they were kind of NYC. They've done predictions. He's got some experience. But yeah, so we're looking forward to that. And that's all part of our, Pokemon 25th anniversary celebration. If you do, on the topic of Post Malone, if you do want to watch the concert, it is going to be on the official Pokemon website and on the Pokemon 25th anniversary site and on their YouTube channel.
Did they say what time that's going to be at?
If they did, I did not copy that information down.
I missed it too. We did talk about doing a live reacts to that as well too. That would just be, I assume that we would just do that more of like as just a Twitch thing.
Yeah.
For that, where we would just live react to that.
Unless it's just absolutely incredible, in which case we will.
Yeah, right.
Have to.
Unless there's more stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. What's next? Kicking off on Saturday, February 20th, 2021, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. local time. That's whatever time you're in. Pokemon Go Tour Kanto is beginning. This is. I don't know if this is a full-on replacement for the Pokemon Go celebrations that they've done, where people actually got together in one place.
I believe those are in the summer, aren't they?
Yeah, usually. But these are still ticketed events. You have to purchase your ticket on the app to get access to this event.
And I didn't do it last time, but I might do it this time. Scheduling permits it. I have something that I'm doing that weekend, so I may not be able to participate. I would love to, because that sounds really cool, but it may just be something that I end up having to skip out on, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, so if you're not familiar with the Pokemon Go Tour Kanto event, it's an opportunity to catch the original 150 again, Which if you joined Pokemon Go late and you weren't playing it when it first came out, there might still be some first gen Pokemon that you don't have yet in your Pokedex. And so this is a good opportunity to get those. But it also depends on which version you choose. And I think this is great. You're choosing between red version and green version. And that determines which Pokemon are going to appear when you drop an incense in Pokemon Go.
And for those who don't know, green version was the version in Japan before blue, because it was Pokemon Red and Blue over here because of America.
Right.
Blue, so they did red and blue.
So I think that's awesome. And then the big reward for doing this, at least the big reward in my mind, if you complete the special research tasks, the final reward is a shiny Mew, which is awesome.
So bad.
Yeah, and there's never a bad time to get another shiny legendary.
Especially Mew. A shiny Mew, it's so cool. So, I would love to participate, but I think I'm
probably going to go ahead and do that.
You'll have to report back because I will be very sad I'm missing it. But
well, let's see. Unfortunately, I don't think I can get more than one shiny Mew. Otherwise, I'd get one for you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'll live.
Our last bit of news is that on February 25th, Sword and Shield players are going to be able to redeem a code for Pikachu that knows Sing.
Okay.
Which is it's part of their 25th anniversary celebration.
Yeah. Again, with the music.
Yeah, they've definitely gone with a musical theme. In fact, like on the website, they're going to have a whole bunch of episodes, like musical themed episodes of the show available for people to watch on the website as well. So they're going hard into the whole music theme, which again, I don't understand the reason for it, but I one thing that you can always respect about Pokemon is when they go all in on an event, they go all in on an event.
Yeah. Do you remember when the first movie came out and like the soundtrack for that was just like every popular?
I loved that soundtrack.
Yeah, me too. I had that soundtrack. I listened to it so much. It was everybody from like NSYNC to Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears. Everybody.
And what's his face? The guy who beat Shaq. Was he on that one or the second movie soundtrack? Aaron Carter. Aaron Carter had a track on one of either the first or the Pokemon the Movie 2000 soundtrack.
It was probably 2000. I feel like he was more popular.
Either way, I loved both of those soundtracks. Like, unironically, I enjoyed those immensely.
Weird Al had a song in the second movie.
That's true, yeah.
What? So crazy.
Well, so I don't blame them for going hard on the music theme, and I'll be happy to take their Pikachu who knows Sing, just because that's this is your chance to get that. That's weird.
He'll go really nicely with all my Pikachus that have different hats. So.
Did you find your code for Zarude?
I never actually did. I don't think I ever got it.
Well, that is
which is a shame because when I looked it up, I think there was like a certain thing you had to do or something like that to get it, and I couldn't find it in my email. So I'm not too worried about it. Maybe they'll do something else again. I'm sure there'll be another way to get him, but I would love to have Zarude. And
I did not complete my living dex, and I had been working on it forever. And if you're not a huge Poke nerd, the living dex is having one version of every Pokemon, and I did not complete my living dex until like last month when our buddy Irvy finally gave me a Meloetta because when I was working at GameStop, they had giveaways. They gave away 12 legendary Pokemon once a month for a whole year, and I totally spaced and missed the Meloetta, and so then I never got another chance.
That's a bummer. I also want to shout out Irvy as well, too, just a real quick segue, because I did come home today to a DVD copy of Pokemon the Movie 2000, which is very appreciated. Yeah, I already have the movie on Blu-ray, but I love that he sent it to me. And it was just a random gift. He just messaged me and said, hey, I sent you something. Keep an eye out for it. So shout out Irvy.
We're definitely going to do episodes on the movies and stuff in the future.
Yes. So I can't wait.
You're prepared.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so that code is going to be distributed via the email newsletters, and it will also be available on Pokemon.com and the 25th anniversary site to get your Pikachu with Sing. So keep your eyes out for that on February 25th. That's it for our news. Unless you have anything else to add, Dustin?
No, like I said, I feel like there were some cool things that kind of just came out and were announced today, but I don't really want to dive too deep into everything that's going on for like the Pokemon Day week leading up to it, just because we do have an entire episode that's going to be dedicated to that. So I don't really want to keep repeating the same things.
Yep.
I'm very excited.
Everything
sounds super cool.
Pokemon news is always exciting, even for stuff that I'm like not personally like the stuff about the relocating the tournament. That's not a big deal for me, but there's going to be someone out there that's like super stoked that it's coming to London.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, we have confirmation. It'll be live then again. Yeah.
So that's always cool. Well, so let's move into our topic for the week. We're talking Pokemon Journeys. As I mentioned before, the fourth part of the dub is arriving on Netflix on March 5th, something like that.
Yeah, I think it was March 5th or March 4th or March 5th, but yeah.
So that's coming up fast. So if you haven't watched the whole series, now's a good time to jump into it. It's actually a pretty quick watch.
Yeah, there's 36 episodes, I think, altogether at this point.
Yeah,
and they're like 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
You can burn through it super fast.
So we're going to start off with some general thoughts, and I'll go ahead and kick it over to Dustin. What do you think? What are some general thoughts you have on Pokemon Journeys?
I really like Pokemon Journeys in most ways, but there's definitely things that I don't like about it, and I think you and I will have similar issues with the show. I think the first episode of Pokemon Journeys might be one of the best episodes of the Pokemon anime, hands down.
Dude, I agree. That episode is fantastic.
It made me really emotional, and I was not expecting that from it. Like, it kind of fit in a little bit to, like, I think we talked about this last week, about the show like possibly being like a soft reboot for the anime.
I mean, that's how it was originally announced.
Yeah,
we were under that impression.
And it felt like that a little bit at the beginning because, like, slight spoilers, but it shows essentially Ash when he's younger, even before he's 10, because he's already super young. And then it also
see Ash as an embryo.
yeah, right. And then you also see a younger Pikachu. Like, it's before they even meet. So it's.
And I should say we probably are going to spoil some stuff from the series. We'll try to avoid like major spoilers, but again, Pokemon's one of those weird series that it's really tough to gauge what constitutes a major spoiler.
And there's a lot of filler too, so it's like...
I mean, it's hard to say what is or isn't filler.
Right? Okay, the Slowpoke episode was definitely filler.
Okay, that was 100% filler.
It had a banger of a song, though, that's for sure.
Well, okay, so actually, let's talk about music real quick. So, I watched the dub because, of course,
same.
I'm as a child, I watched the dub, the 4Kids animation dub, and all that.
Yeah.
So that's just my preferred method of watching Pokemon. In fact, I can probably blame Pokemon for why I prefer to watch all anime as dubs over subs. Nothing wrong with subs. Don't get me wrong. I have watched some stuff subbed, but in general, I prefer dubs.
I watched like 400 episodes of Naruto Shippuden in subs. I can handle subs, but I do prefer dubs as well. I also watched it dubbed. Similar for me, I would say that it's really Dragon Ball Z that got me into anime overall. Mm-hmm. Like the doing dubbed anime, but Pokemon definitely like.
Well, so I was
hurt, and then for time I didn't even know that Pokemon was anime. Like. I just was like, oh yeah, Pokemon the cartoon.
I didn't know what was anime until honestly, even Dragon Ball Z. I had probably watched multiple seasons of Dragon Ball Z before someone was like, "Yeah, dude, that's anime." Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're like, I guess I like anime.
What I was bringing up was the music. Pokemon intros are obviously super important for Pokemon fans and that's one of those things that people will always bring up is which season has the best, theme song, and obviously, the original theme song is going to be at the top for most people, and it is for me still as well. But it is for me as well. I'm very fond of the American theme song for Pokemon Journeys.
Yep, it's really good. Like it, and I watched a little bit. I watched like a season and a half of Sun and Moon as well, and their theme song is good as well. But it's kind of like. It almost seems a little R&B, which is kind of different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like most of their themes they've done for the dubs. I really like this one as well.
I felt like
half the time I don't skip it.
The song for Pokemon Journeys, it's in very much in the same vein as the theme song for like Johto Pokemon, the Johto Journeys.
Yeah,
I feel like it's very similar to that. And also the band that performs the theme song is a Canadian band called Walk Off the Earth. And I was already a fan of them. And when I first heard that theme song, I'm like, God, this sounds like Walk Off the Earth. That would be so weird though, like funny. Very random. Because they're not like a super well-known band. In fact, the thing they're probably best well-known for was a viral video that went around where all 5 members of the band played that Gautier song. What was the name of the song? Somebody That I Used to Know. You remember that song?
Okay. Yeah.
All 5 of them played it on one guitar.
That's pretty cool.
And
that's pretty cool.
That was a viral video that went around. And that was my first exposure to Walk Off the Earth. But so it's a good theme song, and always important to kick off Pokemon with a good theme song in my book.
I had never even heard of them before. That like it wasn't a band or anything I'd heard of before. But I like the theme song. It's a good theme song.
What do you think about the overall setting for Pokemon Journeys?
That's where. So I like the setting. I kind of like this idea. So general plot for this is it's Ash back in Kanto for the most part, and there's a character Go who's in there as well too. And Go is kind of this character that just wants to catch all of the Pokemon and fill out the Pokedex. And they end up like each episode it's almost like a monster of the week, but it's region of the week kind of thing where they go to a different region. And so it's not all set in the Galar region, which is kind of a big change for Pokemon because every time they've done a new anime, it's been set in whatever region is or whatever region the game is. And they go to the Galar region, but it's not primarily set there.
And they probably spend about 50% of the show in Galar, at least so far. So it's like the majority would be Galar.
And there's a lot of Galar Pokemon as well too that show up, and they talk about the like what the Battle League, or what is it called?
The World Coronation series.
The World Coronation, yeah. And Leon from the games is like obviously who everybody wants to beat.
Yeah, I mean it's basically like the league that you see in Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
Only they've widened it to the entire, Pokemon world. So I do like the traveling around and visiting those places. It does make the world feel a little smaller to me.
Yes. They go places so fast and come back. It does definitely make it feel smaller to me as well. Because I got that same sense.
With Kanto and Johto, they're right next to each other, right? So, we know that from the games and we know that from the show. So, and just think about how long it took, how many episodes were between each city that Ash went to in Kanto.
Yeah.
And then in Pokemon Journeys, they're in a new city every episode.
Yeah.
And sometimes they go to multiple cities in the same episode. And they also don't make a big deal out of the cities. Yeah. Like they don't always tell you where it is. They'll tell you what region it's in.
Yeah.
But you won't always get the actual name of the city. And I'm a little disappointed by that. I think mostly because, with the older episodes, the older anime stuff, I say older, all the way through like Sun and Moon, they were very like, we go from this city, now we have to go to this city because that's where the next gym is, and here's all the adventures we have along the way. That's not the focus of Pokemon Journeys at all. It's not about going, gym to gym. And so in that way, it's a different setting, which makes it kind of interesting, but it is also not exactly my favorite.
Yeah, it is. It is a little odd, too, the not going from gym to gym setup, too, because there's not really, like, Ash isn't going and trying to collect all the gym badges in this show. Like, that's not what it's about. So
it kind of feels like Ash is just wasting time.
Yeah, no, it really does. Like, he's trying to get his way up the Coronation League, but he's not doing any gym battles, but he does fight gym leaders. Like, correct. I think in one of the most recent episodes on Netflix that came out, I think he fought B, right?
He did fight B in part 3. But he didn't fight B at the fighting gym and I forget which city it is in Sword and Shield, but he didn't fight her there. He
it was in
fought her
Kanto, right?
at the fighting dojo in Kanto.
Yeah. Which is in what city is that in? Is that
oh gosh, I can picture it because you have the two
that's
gyms
the
right
city,
next to each other.
That's the city that Sabrina's gym
Saffron
is in,
City,
right? Yeah, Saffron City. That's what I thought it was too. Oh God, we're such dorks.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no denying that for sure.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so overall, I like the setting. The setup of the show was that Go wants to find Mew.
Yep.
And he in his the day he's supposed to go get his first Pokemon, I don't know if it was the day he went to go get the first Pokemon. At some point, he saw Mew as a child, and he wants to do it again. He wants to find Mew and he wants to catch Mew. And to do so, he's going to catch literally every other Pokemon so that he can learn more about Mew, because Mew has the DNA of every Pokemon.
Yep.
So that's Go's setup. Ash's setup is he meets Go.
Yeah, that's nail on the head. That's literally it. Ash is just kind of there.
And he's getting into some cool shenanigans. And the World Coronation Series, I really do love the whole concept.
I do like it too.
And it's something I hope that they kind of carry into future stuff.
Yeah.
But Ash doesn't have a plot line here. Ash's plot line is always pretty weak to begin with. But there's a defined goal. And in this one, I guess what you could say his defined goal is he wants to battle and defeat Leon, who is the current world champion.
So I guess, I mean, it is still his whole wanting to be the very best and be the Pokemon champion, but it's not set up as well. And I think that has to do with the fact that we're so accustomed to the gym battles, and that's how you accomplish that, is by beating every gym. And then
it makes it so that the way that he gets to that final goal, there's no telling what he has to do to actually get there at this point, because all he has to do is get up into the top tier, and then I guess he can challenge him.
Yeah, which is weird because in the game you have to, obviously like any other Pokemon game, you have to beat every gym before you can fight the Elite Four, and every Elite Four has a champion, and he's the champion of that Elite Four. So it is kind of weird that in this one it's not like that.
And in some ways that's a little more believable.
Yeah.
Because if everyone has to fight the same Elite Four all the time, and everyone knows which Pokemon the Elite Four has, well, then you would just plan which Pokemon you're going to use against the Elite Four, and they would lose, and then they would not be in the top 4 anymore.
Yeah, everyone knows that, let's say Lance, for example, as a dragon type, so you're like, okay, I know what I need to have to go up against Lance.
Precisely. So in that way, that's kind of more realistic, and that's kind of cool. And like I said, I do love that Coronation Series. I think it's the sort of thing that they only could do now in the anime, because they've updated the Pokedexes over time. Ash is still 10 years old, but Pokedexes technology have drastically improved to the point that they're essentially cell phones. And so in that way, they kind of parallel the technology that we have in real life. And I think that kind of makes it a little more interesting. And I bet if I was a kid, I would relate to it that much more.
Exactly. Because that is the target audience of the show, obviously. I turn 30 next month. Jeff's in his 30s. This isn't a show aimed at us, but
it's
we
not
still watch it. And it's not aimed at us, but we're not the target audience for the show.
We were talking about it earlier that this was supposed to be sort of a reboot. At least that's how, when it was first announced, that's how people were talking about it.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's a reboot at all?
No, I guess in the only sense I would say would be just that we're kind of going back to literally the beginning, by Ash mainly being not mainly, but his base of operations for this entire series so far has been Kanto, which is the first region from the series and where Ash is from. So he's back at home with mom essentially, and just going on adventures from there. But no, not really. Honestly, I think if they really wanted to reboot it, they would just have to, I don't know if I would love it, but do away with Ash and just make a new character the main character. Like it follows somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if they were going to do that, they would have pulled the trigger on that a while ago.
Well, I think now would have been the perfect time to do it because Ash won the Pokemon League. I mean, spoilers for Sun and Moon, but Ash won the Pokemon League. Like that should have, in my opinion, that maybe should have been like a good send off for him as a character as he became the champion.
Well, and they could have kept him around as a character, but like go ahead and let's jump forward in time and age Ash up. And now Ash is, 30 years old,
Yeah, or he could have been like the mentor or
he could be a Pokemon professor at this point, or
Yeah. He could have been the person that Go like went to for like because the show could have followed Go.
Yeah.
Like I think he's a compelling enough character. I don't necessarily love everything about the way his character is.
There's a lot I don't like about Go. And we'll talk about that when we're talking about the individual characters. But yeah, I agree. I don't think it's definitely not the reboot we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I think they kind of picked and chose what parts of it they wanted to reboot. So like they'll ignore that Ash has seen a certain Pokemon 1,000 times.
Yeah, I always get a little over the who's that Pokemon, and like Ash has seen all these Pokemon before.
Yeah, it's silly, and I think that's probably the biggest sign that they are like it's like a semi reboot in that they're just going to ignore the fact that Ash has seen these Pokemon many, many, many times. I also wanted to talk about the art style. The art style came into question a lot for the Pokemon series when Sun and Moon was first revealed. A lot of people were not very positive about that art style, myself among them. I did not like the changes. When I finally watched the show, I got used to it.
Oh, sorry. Kat is saying hello. Sorry,
I got used to the art style in Sun and Moon after just a few episodes, and so I was like, okay, well, I didn't overreact. I wasn't one of the people saying like, boycott Pokemon. They ruined my childhood because they changed the art style. I wasn't one of those.
Yeah.
But, I thought that it was a little, it went away from the sharp lines that the show had used for ages to a lot more softer shapes. Yep. And it makes it like, this is weird, but it almost makes it more Western to me. Like Western cartoon. Yeah.
So when they did the change to the artwork for Sun and Moon, I was a little taken back, but it didn't really bother me. I watched the first episode like right away and I really dug it. Speaking of subs and dubs, I actually watched the first few episodes subbed when it first came out. And now that it's on Netflix, I've watched like a season and a half of it, and it's actually a super good show. Like there's some good stuff about it, and the art style definitely did like it's a little jarring at first. I get it. So it is kind of nice though, because in this show they went more back to how it not how it should have been, but how it used to be.
Yeah,
before.
They edged a little more towards the older art style for Pokemon Journeys, but I think it was close enough to Sun and Moon that like unless you're really looking for the differences, you might not even notice. So I'm fine with the art style in this one. It's not like the best anime art I've ever seen, but it doesn't need to be. It's Pokemon.
Yeah, you're not watching like a Studio Ghibli film or like
Akira.
Yeah, exactly.
And we talked about the World Coronation Series. So let's just one last question on the general thoughts. Where does it stand for you in comparison to previous seasons of Pokemon?
It's hard to say because to me it kind of feels, how Netflix how Netflix has season 1, the Indigo League of Pokemon on their service, but at a certain point it kind of just ends.
Yeah.
Like they don't, and like it's just like a really random episode. For me, it kind of feels a little bit like that, where it's just a lot of like, this is more so the build up to Ash eventually going to the coronation, but I don't know if I'm ever going to get that payoff in this show.
Well, I think we will. I mean, season 4, it pretty much has to. Like, he has to. I don't know if he's going to ever make it to. I don't know if he's ever going to make it to battle Leon in this season.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
But I feel like he's going to at least, get to the top of the great class. because they're going to have to do. I don't know if they do a second season, a series of Pokemon Journeys.
That's what I was going to say. Is are they just going to do a follow up, or is this? Are they going to do more episodes after this, and this is just all they have so far? Like, we're in the middle of a pandemic, so it's hard to know if maybe they just stopped doing the show right now because like people are having a hard time working on it. But
it's certainly a lot harder. Like, I mean, animation is fortunate that they don't have to be in the same place to do everything. No. It's obviously easier to have people all in one place, and but that's why with animated shows they've been able to continue producing them, if maybe at just a slower rate. So I think we will get another quote unquote season of Pokemon with the Journeys thing, just like they did Sun and Moon and then Ultra Sun and Moon. It's or whatever what do they call the second series of Sun and Moon? Do you remember?
It was Ultra Sun and Moon.
It was? Okay, I thought so. Yeah. Or X and Y and then XYZ.
Pokemon Indigo League and then Orange Islands.
Orange Islands.
Yeah.
So I think we'll get like more of that because we don't have a new generation yet. So so we have to get more of that.
Exactly.
Well, so the next thing I wanted to kind of talk about was go in on some of the characters and get your thoughts on these. So we touched on Ash earlier and what like his quote-unquote journey is for this series. What do you think of Ash in Pokemon Journeys?
He kind of this is going to sound so weird, but he kind of almost feels like a silent protagonist where he's kind of just there. Like, he's just there to carry the plot along because everybody knows him. But I really just don't feel like he's doing a whole lot. He has caught some really cool Pokemon this season, though, that like people have wanted him to catch for a really long time. But like you said, his setup is kind of weak in this show, so there's not really a whole lot to Ash this season, and it's kind of weird. I think in the last, not to get too into spoilers, but like the last few episodes of this series, the series we're in now that aired, I think they fleshed this character out a little bit more. I don't know. Can we spoil it? Like, is that fine?
Well, I mean, I personally, I think we're gonna talk about the individual seasons here in a little bit, and so I was thinking maybe we would save the actual spoiler talk for that section. Can do that.
But I just feel like there was a little bit more growth at the end, so it'd be cool if that continues. But yeah, overall, I think this is kind of a weak showing for Ash.
Yeah, I agree with that. He doesn't feel like he has a whole lot of agency. He is going where Go needs to go. Pun intended.
How many times can you say
Go? So he's following Go around and doing coronation battles, wherever he happens to be.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. That's one of the things I like about the World Coronation Series, that anywhere could be a league battle.
Yeah.
But overall, he doesn't do much. He's even like part of the plot is that they are research fellows for Professor Cerise, right?
Yeah. Yep.
One, don't hire kids for scientific research.
Yeah. They did that. It's super similar to Sun and Moon. It was the same thing.
It's still weird. And does not make sense. Nope, you're an adult. Adults can catch Pokemon. You don't have to be 10 to catch Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't think there's an age limit to when you cannot catch Pokemon anymore.
But in any case, he's a research fellow. Ash is not particularly bright. He's been the butt of many jokes in the show over the years for being kind of a dummy. But it's his heart that everyone loves about him.
It's the typical anime protagonist trope.
Yes.
Where it's like the determination to keep going and become stronger. They're not known for like being smart. Goku, Naruto, so many different characters are like that.
So he hasn't been doing that much that I feel like really fits the character of Ash from the past. And it is mostly just whatever Go is dealing with, Ash happens to be there. And Ash is way more experienced than Go in terms of Pokemon just in general.
Yeah.
So, because I guess he's supposed to be a little older than Go.
It's never really clear to me because Ash is still 10 and he shouldn't still be 10.
I don't know. It's weird to me. That's all a blur to me. But
yeah,
he does catch some cool Pokemon this season, like we talked about, and that's awesome. Some of these Pokemon, and we're going to talk about them. Those are some of my favorite moments from the series.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about Go. First of all, his name is Go.
G-O-H.
Yes, G-O-H. Okay, that's right. I even wrote just G-O. But that's because my question is he too on the nose? Like, is it like, marketing just being shoved into your face? Play Pokemon Go.
Yeah. His name's Go. He doesn't really battle Pokemon. He just throws a Pokeball at him to try and catch him. It's a little bit on the nose. I guess I don't even really... Honestly, I think it's because I'm such a fan of the series already, but for me, I didn't notice it as much. I was like, oh, his name's Go.
Yeah, for probably the whole first 12 episodes, every time they said Go, I would go like, ugh. Just a little groan.
Yeah. Yep. Like, I know what they're going for here.
Yeah. I suppose for kids, but see, that's the thing. It's so on the nose that I think even kids will be like, oh, like Pokemon Go. Yeah. And it shouldn't be. Kids shouldn't be able to identify the marketing.
Pokemon Go, watch this anime so that you can go play the game. Yeah, it is definitely on the nose now that I think about it.
And so I wonder if that is why, like, in terms of likability, I don't dislike Go. In fact, he has some really good episodes that are like good character moments. Yeah. But overall, I just feel like Go is a vessel to throw Pokeballs.
Yep. Yeah, and, it's to me almost the same as, I know we'll talk about the movies and like further future episodes, but have you seen The Power of Us?
Yes.
That one to me was such a big marketing ploy to go buy Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee.
Yep.
Like the two main Pokemon of the entire movie were Pikachu and Eevee. It's just like, I don't even think Ash has another Pokemon in that entire movie other than Pikachu.
I'll have to rewatch it, but that sounds accurate to me.
Yeah. So that was part of the reason why I didn't necessarily like that movie as much. But again, we'll talk about that later. But
what do you think about how Go's purpose? That he's going to catch every Pokemon. Like obviously that's how we are as players.
I think that's why I like it, and I think it's part of. I honestly feel like it's almost like, hey fans, we heard your feedback that Ash doesn't catch every single Pokemon, so here's a character that's literally going to catch every single Pokemon.
Yeah.
But so I like that there's someone in the show that wants to catch all the Pokemon.
I agree.
I think it's cool. That's literally the tagline is "Gotta catch them all."
Yep, they've been telling it to us for 25 years.
So to have a character in the show that's literally their purpose is kind of nice.
Yeah, I agree. So I like that. But because he catches all these Pokemon, and this is where I'm being hypercritical as a grumpy old man of 32 years old. Does he care about his Pokemon at all?
I don't know. I mean, I think he cares about his 6 Pokemon, that he'll have in his inventory, but I don't know. That's a good thought. Does he just send them to the professor?
And thank God he's a research fellow for a professor that has a facility that can raise all these Pokemon for him.
No,
because
keep all of them for him.
Because otherwise they're just in Pokeballs, like all of Ash's Tauros.
God. Yeah. Ash's Tauros, I forgot about that.
But so yeah, it just kind of and I'll talk about this more in the spoilers part. But there's moments where I'm just like. Like, in a way, he is more like the actual players of the games because you are just trying to catch the Pokemon. And because it's digital, it's a video game, you might care about your Pokemon. Like, it's cool to have this Pokemon. You wanted this Pokemon. But you don't care for your digital Pokemon the way I care for Mando or you care for Zelda.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Like, they're not, like, pets or companions when you're playing the digital video games. And that's kind of how Go feels, is that his Pokemon, to me, feel like just the next one he has to catch, and he doesn't really have an emotional attachment to them.
Yeah, I get that. Like, he's just there to catch them all, and he does kind of feel like a representation of the player, like us playing the game or something like that. Because yeah, I'm the same way. I have, for example, the other night I hopped on and played some Pokemon Sword to just do like the run around and do some of the dungeons and catch some legendary Pokemon, and I'm just like, okay, and I just throw them right in my inventory, like,
I caught a legendary Pokemon into the box.
I got Groudon right into my inventory for now until I decide to use you later. So
yeah. I feel like that was an inevitability with the games, especially like since we all wanted Pokemon Home. That was something we wanted. Yeah. Everyone wanted the ability to transfer over their Pokemon from every one of their games and keep them forever. And that's awesome. I truly love it. But it does devalue legendary Pokemon a little bit. And then when they make them so catchable in these Dynamax raids, it devalues them just that much more. Now you can still only get one of each. Yeah. In the Dynamax raids, like the dungeons. So in that way, you're still only going to get one, but it is, everybody is getting one.
They're a little too easy. Yeah, I think that's the thing, that they're just a little too easy. It's not like playing a raid in a MMO or something like that, where you're
even a raid in Pokemon Go, where there's a really good chance you don't catch the Pokemon at the end of it.
My first raid I ever did was an Articuno, and I didn't catch it. I still don't think I have an Articuno to this day, and like it was such a bummer.
Yeah. Well, next character I wanted to touch on. Throughout the history of Pokemon, Ash usually has one guy traveling partner and one girl traveling partner. At least. Sometimes they've added even more people to the mix. I guess Chloe is supposed to be the girl counterpart.
She doesn't. It's weird though, because she doesn't really travel with them.
She doesn't travel with them. She's only in like 5 episodes.
And there's like one episode, right? That's like mainly devoted to their family.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that when we get to the spoilers about it. But that whole episode, when that episode started, I was legit like, wait, who are these people?
Yeah, that's the thing for me, is like, you posted so we have a Google Doc, obviously, for show notes to go over, and you posted that, and I had to Google who Chloe was because I completely forgot who she was. And I think that says a little bit about the character.
Yeah, and it's a huge disappointment.
Like, she's just kind of there.
So, certainly in terms of representation, Chloe is not doing the job.
No, I just feel like she's just there to be there.
It would be really cool kind of if in this last part, in part 4, because throughout the story, part of Chloe's story is that she doesn't really love Pokemon.
Yeah.
And it would be really cool if, after the events that have transpired through these 3 seasons, if in season 4 that she is developing an affinity for Pokemon and decides that she does want to travel with Ash and Go. I think that would be cool. Or even if it's not for like the entire season, like, just include her a little more.
Give her something more to do. Yeah. It's like she's just, again, there's no other way to describe it other than she's just there.
I thought Netflix was autoplaying a different show when that episode started, and like, where's Ash and Go?
Yeah, which is not necessarily a good thing. Like, I think the most memorable moments really is like the fact that she's in that first episode and she's like one of Go's friends when they're 6 years old or whatever they are, and then that episode that's all about her family. Because she's Professor Cerise's daughter, for anybody like curious and who she is.
That's not a character trait. Like, that's
exactly. That's like all that you really know about her, is that she's the professor's daughter. And she has a Yamper.
She has a Yamper, and I love Yamper. So
yeah, Yamper is great.
That's probably why I want Chloe to be used more, so I get more screen time of Yamper.
Yeah. It would be very cool. In terms of, I hope that they do something else with her. Otherwise, it's just kind of a waste of a character, and it's a shame. I think the show could use more like strong female characters that aren't just there. Like, even with Misty, she did more, but she always felt like she was supposed to be the pseudo, like, is is Ash or are Ash and this girl going to date, or at the same time, like she was the nagging woman, and it's like,
yeah,
that's just.
I mean, that's
those
true.
don't age well.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely does more than Ash, and she is a great trainer in her own right. And I think you can say that about a few of the other characters that Ash travels with throughout the whole series. Like with X and Y, they did X and Y was that Serena?
So I'm trying to remember X and Y. I've only watched a few episodes of, to be completely honest.
They had Clement and his sister.
Yes.
And then
there's.
And I'm forgetting.
Yeah, it was. I'm trying to remember as well too, because I remember in the first couple episodes she shows up and she's looking for Ash.
Right. And she wants to be a like a Pokemon performer.
Yeah.
So
again, I started that show. I think it's on like Hulu, I want to say, but I never got. Yeah, Serena, you're right. A rookie performer named Serena.
Thank you. Okay,
that was her name.
And so she had her own story arc. So she did a lot, but she also wasn't like a battler. I want another like a girl character who wants to battle like Ash. Like
a May or something like that.
Like May was great, yeah. So I don't know. Chloe's weak as a character.
Unfortunately, it really sucks to say, because again, it's not like there's many other strong women role models in the show. So they're one that like feels like could be a good like role model for young girls.
Before we go into spoilers, because I do have other characters I want to talk about, but I feel like going into their details is going to be a little more spoilery. Okay. I just want to touch on Jesse, James, and Meowth, who are, of course, are a staple of every Pokemon series.
Always great.
Yes, they are
just always great.
Comedic relief, and I mean, like their tropey is all get out at this point.
Yeah,
like they are a trope in and of themselves.
Yep.
But one thing that I thought was really cool was they finally tackled the issue of Jesse and James don't have good Pokemon.
Yes.
And they never have the right Pokemon for whatever job they're trying to pull. So they fixed that in this series by summoning a gotcha game. Like, one of those things you put a quarter in the machine and it pops out something.
Yeah.
They drop one of those machines from the sky filled with Pokeballs that Jesse and James then use Meowth's payday coin from his head to to unlock the coin slot and get some Pokemon out of it. And they never know which Pokemon they're going to get until they throw the Pokeball. So that's kind of exciting because it is like, oh, what are they going to get this time?
Yep.
However, it does lead to some situations later on in the series where it's like, sure, it's convenient that they always end up with the right type Pokemon.
Yeah.
Out of this random.
Yeah, like exactly what they're going to need.
There's an episode where they're dealing with bug type Pokemon, like Ash and Go are with this girl. They're trying to catch a bug type Pokemon. So of course, when Team Rocket shows up, they summon two bug type Pokemon, and because of course they do.
Yeah, it just conveniently happens.
Yeah, and
it's like the game's rigged.
Yeah, I'm not going to be too overly critical about that because you can totally justify it by saying that it's being dropped from the sky from someone. Someone is sending them this thing. Maybe this rocket ship full of Pokeballs is, they filled it specifically with like, one of these Pokemon's going to work. You're in a forest. These are your forest Pokemon. Here you go. So you can either bug justify it that way
or whatever.
But they're always good. I love Jesse, James, and Meowth. They do provide some good comedic relief, and they have some good, they even have some decent character moments in Journeys. Not as much as they have in some of the other ones, but it's good stuff. I like that they keep bringing them back. And actually, one thing I will say for them in this one in particular, they're not as treated as buffoons as they have been in the past. Like Giovanni does trust them a little bit.
They've developed over the years.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Okay, well, so
they've always been around.
Let's talk some spoilers. We're going to go season by season and share some thoughts on, our favorite moments from those seasons, maybe some weird moments, some bad moments, however you want to describe it. But then also we'll talk about like the rest of these characters, just so that we can get into the spoilers a little bit. So first off the bat, obviously in part 1, the first episode is all about Pikachu's origin story. I thought that was a great episode. We mentioned that at the top.
Yeah, and I didn't even think about the fact that he was going to start as a Pichu.
Yeah.
Like that they were going to start showing him as a Pichu. Like that totally threw me off, and it shouldn't have.
But it got me.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god, that's Ash's Pikachu. And it's just a Pichu.
Yeah, and because it's not super clear right from the start. Like it's not like they start the show with Ash and Pikachu like contemplating about their origin stories.
Yeah,
like, it just starts with telling you a story about this Pichu.
Yeah,
and so like you don't know that it's Ash's Pikachu right off the bat, but of course you put it together because you're not an idiot.
Which is super cool though. Like it just, it follows this Pichu that's essentially raised by a Kangaskhan. Like
so cool.
Yeah, it's just so cool. Like I know that there's other stuff that happens in that first episode, but that was the part that stuck out for me the most. Like that's the most memorable part of the episode is like Pikachu's origin. Yeah. And like how he got to Ash essentially. Like, and it was just so cool. I really dug it.
Plus, like just Kangaskhan in general doesn't appear often, and I think is an often overlooked Pokemon because it doesn't have any evolutions.
Yeah.
So I think it was cool to get that showcased in a way because it does like call you back the nostalgia, taking you back to Kanto, with a story about a exclusively Kanto Pokemon, Next thing I wanted to talk about from season 1, one of my favorite moments was when Ash and Go ride Lugia.
Yeah, that was super cool.
Yes, it was cool. It also looked cool, and Lugia is one of my all-time favorite legendaries.
Yeah. Lugia is super cool. I really dug them bringing Lugia in the first episode. Or second episode, right? Was it the second episode?
Mm-hmm.
I believe. Yeah. It was really reminiscent of Ash seeing Ho-Oh for the first time. Because, like, obviously there's Pokemon, the movie 2000, which is all about Lugia. But in the anime, it's always cool when you get to see the legendary Pokemon. And they're not just saved for movies. Because if I'm not mistaken, the movies aren't canon, right?
It certainly seems that way. Because Ash wasn't like, hey, man, why aren't you talking? We used to talk, you and me, Lugia.
Yeah. So, that was super cool. I like that as well too.
Because if the movies were canon, Ash has run into literally every legendary Pokemon. So if the movies were canon, then he would be like as soon as Go's like, I want to see Mew. True. I want to catch Mew. He would have to be like, oh yeah, no, I met Mew. He saved me from, he accidentally turned me to stone, but we got over it.
Yeah.
Through the power of love.
Tears brought me back.
Ash would have some wild stories. People would lock him up. They'd say this guy's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a really cool moment as well too.
What's one of your favorite moments?
It's so hard to top the Pikachu stuff in season 1.
I wrote down some if you want me to throw out some other of my favorites as well.
The other one I was going to say too was just like how the whole plot line of him wanting to see Mew. So I did like getting to see Mew in the first episode as well too when they're kids. Definitely. I really like that as well.
I loved from season 1 the whole episode about Ho-Oh and like climbing the tower and like because this kid wants to show his granddad. His granddad, right? I think it was his granddad.
Yeah.
His granddad thought that
they had a rainbow wing.
They had a rainbow wing, and his granddad thought he had seen Ho-Oh, and that's when he got the feather. And
that was a really cool episode.
And they were, he was losing his faith that it was real, and it was a cool episode. But also, I just loved how much it paralleled, like playing Pokemon in the game. When you go get Ho-Oh in Gold and Silver, or in Gold rather, you climb the 10 tower and you wave your rainbow wing, and then Ho-Oh shows up. So I thought that was one of those episodes where I felt like, yes, the show's not made for me anymore, but that's something that only someone from, you know, our generation of Pokemon fans can actually appreciate to that level.
Either our generation or the next one with the Soul Silver and Heart Gold.
Oh, for sure.
You know, like,
I mean, that's true. That's because they keep reintroducing these generations. You get to.
There's always a remake. It's even Kanto at this point. You know, with Pokemon Let's Go.
The other things. I mean, we've had Kanto like 3 times. Yeah, because we also had Fire Red, Leaf Green. So
Fire Red, Leaf Green, and then
and then not to mention the re-release on 3DS.
Oh yeah, of Red, Blue, and
Yellow.
Yep. They did the same thing with Gold, Silver, and or Crystal, right?
On 3DS,
or at least Crystal. Yeah, I think Crystal's on there.
I honestly don't remember.
I bought Crystal. I know at least Crystal's on there, which is cool.
I actually never played Crystal, so I should probably.
You know, this is gonna get me a lot of flack too, but I've actually never played through all of Crystal either. I bought it, but I have not played through it.
Well, I don't know why that would get you a lot of flack. You did play through Gold or Silver, right?
Dustin. Yeah, but I feel like
I thought you were about to tell me you hadn't played through Gold or Silver.
No. I played through Gold, and I've also played through both Heart Gold and Soul Silver at this point. But I don't know. I just feel like everybody was like, Crystal version's like the best Pokemon, and I'm like, I never played it. Like, I don't know.
I didn't bother buying it because, you know, I read about it and it seemed like it was just the exact same storyline. Again,
that was the same thing with Yellow for me. I didn't have Yellow as a kid.
I did buy Yellow because it was going to be more, you know, faithful to the anime. You know, everything is coming from the game, so it's really not fair to say, you know, it's faithful to the anime.
I know,
right?
The
anime is from the games. But
it's I just always thought that the third games were unnecessary until Emerald version. Emerald version was the first one where I was like all about it when it was coming out, and I bought. And we'll talk about this in another episode at some point. But Generation 3 is my favorite, anyways. So when I was just like another chance to play Generation 3. It's all about that as well.
So other favorite moments of mine from season 1, part 1. Ash winning the Flute Cup in Hoenn. That, you know, it's cool to see Ash win tournaments because, you know, he doesn't do that often.
Yeah, it's very rare that anything actually happens or he wins anything.
Gigantamax Snorlax was great just because I think that's one of the cooler Gigantamax Pokemon in terms of like the design, because he's like wildly different. Gigantamax Snorlax has all the trees and stuff, you know, growing out of him.
Super cool.
So that was really cool.
I would say one of my favorite moments as well too from the first part was just the Dynamax, like the finale of the season was really cool. Like getting to see Gigantamax Pokemon fight.
Yes,
was super cool.
One of the weird moments was the episode where they introduce Scorbunny, and so we can talk about Scorbunny's, you know, story here.
Scorbunny Squad. So
I know you're a big Scorbunny fan, and as you know, I am not. You know, I play it up like I hate Scorbunny,
but it's okay.
He's fine. I don't hate Scorbunny.
It's okay. I play up that I don't like Grookey either, but
I mean,
none of them
are
as bad as Sobble. So.
But yeah, so that in that episode where you get introduced to Scorbunny, he is, you know, stealing food with some Nickets, and this was just a worse Squirtle Squad episode.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, I guess. In a sense, that would be one of the parts where maybe it feels like a reboot, where they're trying to like retread some of the episodes or like the way things happen in like the original, then by like kind of doing Squirtle Squad again, but just without Squirtle, with Scorbunny this time.
So I wasn't wild about that episode, and to add on top of that I'm not like I wasn't super stoked for Scorbunny in the first place. So, you know, that was a weird, you know, just a story arc where I was like, oh, okay, whatever. I
think it's funny because I feel a little bit differently just because I love Scorbunny so much that I'm I figure it's really cool to have this episode all about Scorbunny. Yeah.
Oh, and they do a lot of episodes that are Scorbunny centric or Raboot centric after he evolves.
Yeah.
And they're not bad episodes. Like I don't dislike them, but that one stuck out to me as weird because it's like they're very much just doing the Squirtle Squad thing again. And this wouldn't be the only time in Pokemon Journeys where they redo an episode from Indigo in just like a slightly different fashion, which we will talk about when we're talking about part 2. Let me check one last thing on the notes here real quick. Oops, I went too far.
So talking about the like final with seeing Gigantamax and Dynamax, it was really, really cool to see Leon fight Lance.
Yes, 100%. That was cool.
That was super cool to see the original Pokemon champion fight the newest Pokemon champion. I thought that was a super cool idea to have. I really like that.
100%. And it just makes you so hyped for the whole World Coronation series.
Yeah. And I loved Dragon Pokemon as a kid, so like, or
who doesn't?
You know, around that time. So Lance was always one of my favorite characters.
So season 2, or was it season 1? When did Pikachu Gigantamax? That was in season 2, right? Or part 2?
Let's see. I'm pulling up notes here because I can't quite remember either, but I think so. I believe that was the first episode of part 2.
Yeah, first episode of part 2. So like after Leon and Lance have been battling outside of the tournament, a Dreadnought has
they did
Gigantamax.
The unofficial. Yes, yeah. So that was the very first episode of part 2. Yes. It's so hard because, like we said, they're just splitting one season into multiple parts. Yep. So it's like, it's not really like there's a season finale.
It was a kind of a cool moment that Ash's Pikachu happens to be a Gigantamax Pikachu, considering that he's not from Galar.
Right.
Like, what are the odds? That
Convenient,
but seeing our Pikachu that we all know and love become super fat in the Gigantamax
form. That was really good.
I loved that.
We got Fat Pikachu back.
And then I also loved the Island of Dragonairs and Dragonites.
Oh, God. That was probably one of my if not my favorite episode of
if for no other reason than Ash finally does something that we had all wanted for ages, which was to catch. Yeah. He catches a Dragonite.
Yep. And Dragonite's such a cool Pokemon, so it was just a long time coming for him to finally get a Dragonite. And I think that is one of my favorite. If not, like I said,
and he uses him. Dragonite is used a lot in the rest of the series as well, and of course he is, because he's one of the most powerful Pokemon. So
yeah,
it's cool that not only did they catch him, but they didn't like just catch him and throw him aside. Like Ash does a lot with really powerful Pokemon. Is he'll catch them and then set them free again, or like he did with Charizard. Like whatever.
Ash and Charizard, man.
Yeah, what a tumultuous relationship that was.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, and then also another cool moment from part 2, Gengar is cursing a place, or at least they think that it's Gengar cursing the place, but it turns out it wasn't. And then Gengar wants to join Ash, and so then Ash gets a Gengar.
Awesome. I know. We're like, yeah. Yep.
Thank you for giving Ash some good Pokemon.
Yeah. A Gengar and a Dragonair and one season Dragonite.
Yeah. So those were my favorite moments from part 2. Honestly, I think part 1 was stronger than part 2 overall.
Yeah, I think part 1 was. I agree. I think that part 2 just had some like higher highs, I guess, for me.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Again, but it's the nostalgia factor of like I wanted him to get Dragonite and Gengar, so
some of the moments that I thought were weird from part 2, there was a whole episode about making soup. That was weird.
Because it's in the game, Jeff.
The episode where they made a big deal out of Scorbunny learning Ember. Learning Ember? Like the most basic fire move?
Yeah. You learned that at like what, level 7?
If that. Like, it might even just be like 5. I actually he probably catch.
It's like the first.
It's like the first move that he learns.
Yeah, because you usually start with tackle or scratch,
tackle and scratch,
and then it goes on to whatever,
and then growl or tail whip.
I think I did like that his Score Bunny did evolve so quickly.
Yes, that was cool.
That was kind of nice to see Raboot show up, but he's like the edgy emo like teen, and there's like that whole thing.
Is exactly what Raboot is designed to look like. So I get that, but that is one of the reasons that I did not like Score Bunny, like when they revealed the evolutionary tree, and I settled on Grookey.
It's the second form.
It's the second form, because you're not the first form for that long in any given game, but the second form you're in that for a while, and if you're not a fan of that second form, then you might not be as inclined to keep using that Pokemon. But so like Sobble doesn't have a great second set either. He's also an emo looking.
Sobble's my least favorite of that generation of the starters, and it's unfortunate because I've always been either fire or water, and so
Score Bunny goes from being this hyperactive, kick happy rabbit to the most whatever man,
the most emo. Yeah, it is a weird choice.
He's embarrassed by dad.
Yeah.
That
I'm
was
going to my
weird
room,
stuff.
Dad.
And then the other, I mentioned it earlier, that they were copying episodes, ideas from earlier seasons, and we had a whole episode where there's a Ditto who can't transform his face again.
Yeah.
What? Really? Okay.
It's
been 20 years at least since that episode aired.
It's a reboot, Jeff. Oh.
So I guess it's fair. There's going to be a bunch of kids who haven't seen that episode. Okay, fine. But for me, that's a weak spot.
You could honestly even say the same thing about the Raboot storyline is similar to Ash's Charizard.
I mean, there's definitely some similarities.
In its sense.
But Raboot doesn't strike me as
fire.
Raboot doesn't strike me as cocky. Charmeleon was cocky as all get out. And
yeah, I guess that's true.
And then Charizard was, arrogant beyond reason. And we haven't seen what will become of Raboot should he become a Cinderace. But there are definitely some similarities in terms of him being disgruntled with his trainer. Yeah. And I guess maybe that bothers me less because it is with a new trainer. Go doesn't have the life experiences that Ash had from Charizard. So
yeah,
he will. It makes sense for him to make some of the same mistakes that Ash made. I would like for Ash to say, "Hey, man, I went through something sort of like this with this Pokemon, and I never fixed it. So I can't tell you how to fix it, but maybe you can."
Let's not forget that Charizard did come back to help him in Pokemon the third movie. Okay?
He did come back. But he was still arrogant and did not think that Ash was a great trainer or anything.
Isn't there a series where he gets Charizard back
for an extended period of time? Yeah, I don't remember which one. But Charizard's
I want to say it was
while.
Either Generation 4 or 5.
Yeah, there's been a lot.
Yeah, right.
So let's go on to season or part 3. I keep saying, I apologize for that.
Hands down, best part was the Slowpoke.
No,
just kidding.
No, that was so bad. One, Slowking's helmet isn't removable, right? It shouldn't be.
I don't know because of the whole thing with Shelder biting Slowpoke's tail to make Slowbro. Is it the same with Slowking?
Except he's got a King's Rock. Right?
I guess that's true.
So and that's why the Shelder becomes his crown. But it's permanently attached. It becomes part of him. As evidenced by when it goes into the Pokeball, it doesn't go into 2 Pokeballs. You don't have a Shelder and so I guess that was weird that the crown was removable. And then also, just it was beyond weird the way it turned people into, like, I don't know, what's the word? I don't even know the right word to describe it. They were wackadoos.
Yeah, they're like mind controlled by him. Well, I guess if we're going to talk about that episode though too, we can't not talk about the Magikarp jump thing too, as well.
I actually really enjoyed the concept of the Magikarp splash contest. And then at the end, where like he's been wearing weighted training clothes like Goku and Piccolo.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the reason I wanted to bring it up is because I thought it was really funny in the Slowpoke part how they brought that back, where like the one that gets launched super high.
The Magikarp launches himself so high.
I gotta move my cat.
Oh, no problem. The Magikarp gets launched so high that he doesn't come down, and they lose the contest because he never comes back down. And so it was really funny when he came in at the end of that Slowpoke half of the episode, because I was starting to think that they were never going to address that. Like, Go just lost
I thought that was
his Magikarp?
Too. Yeah.
Like,
that was
try to return him.
Super odd.
try to call him back with the Pokeball, man. But yeah, that Slowpoke thing was weird. And then other big moments, Raihan and Leon. Raihan and Leon.
Yeah, Raheen.
They have their big epic battle. That was cool. I loved the Pidove and Yampers dynamic in that episode. That was really cool.
That one episode we were talking about where they show her family.
Yes. So that episode as a whole was like, where did this come from? Yeah. But the dynamic of the Pidove and Yampers was cool because they form a cool little bond, and Yampers is adorable.
Yampers really.
And then the other big moments from that, Go, and I forget the friend's name, their search for Celebi.
I did like that one a lot.
That was a cool episode. That felt like a good standalone episode. It fleshed out Go's character and gave it some more depth, which was cool.
I liked the whole aspect of it where the kid was sick and he just couldn't come back.
Yep.
And like,
because we've all been there where we had to stay home sick and we let a friend down as a kid.
Yep.
So that was really cool. And then my favorite thing from the whole third part was the visiting the fighting dojo to for Go to get a Hitmonchan or a Hitmonlee. That was awesome. It was a cool callback to old Pokemon lore, and then they added in the fact that B, a gym leader from Galar, was there trying to win a battle against the dojo. What's the word I'm looking for? Master.
Yeah, the dojo master, and it's cool because she is, she's this generation's version of the fighting type gym leader. So it's cool to like see her go fight because Generation 1 didn't have a fighting type gym leader, did it? It was just the fighting dojo.
You had the fighting dojo, and it wasn't it said gym on the building, but it wasn't actually a gym. You didn't get a badge for it. It was, and it was always more accurately, it was literally a gym.
Fighting and rock fighting and rock type in Generation 1 were always just so thrown together. Or ground type, I'm sorry, not rock type, but ground type and fighting were like always so thrown together. But yeah, it was cool. I liked that episode a lot. The fight was super cool. That's what I was talking about when I mentioned the character development for Ash is he loses.
Yeah.
Like, he loses that fight, and he had been on this streak of like winning, and he was so cocky, and it's like, I'm going to beat Leon, and then he just gets taken down a peg. And so I like that. And that kind of leads into another episode the final episode with the Flygon and Trapinch and he loses again. And he's just like, feels defeated, and he doesn't really know what's going on. And I thought that last episode was cool to like show him that.
It is cool because it does it's a humanizing moment for Ash, and this whole series he's becoming, kind of unbeatable.
Yeah.
Like he always seems to have a way out of whatever situation he's in. And Ash is supposed to be a good trainer at this point. So that makes sense in most cases, but it is nice to see that occasionally he can go on a losing streak. Yeah. And that was a really cool aspect of the third part there.
It makes your protagonist not feel so like not feel too powerful.
Yeah.
I guess.
He doesn't have Goku syndrome.
Exactly.
The only other than the episode with Chloe's family, being just like kind of unrecognizable as characters. The only other episode that I didn't really love was the one where they're trading Pokemon. They go to the Pokemon trading fair. Because this is something they've never been able to do well in the shows. Because
the bug type episode, right?
That's the bug type episode, yeah. They've never been able to do Pokemon trading well in the shows because the shows emphasize so much forming a relationship with your Pokemon. So like all of Ash loves all his Pokemon. He knows their personalities. They're his friends, right? And the same can be said of all his traveling partners until Go, where Go really only I feel like he's kind of attached to a couple of his Pokemon.
Yeah, he's definitely not like he's definitely not like as attached as Ash is to, say, Pikachu, or in earlier seasons with Squirtle, or later on even with Greninja and stuff like that.
Yeah. So because of that, because the show conditions you to treat Pokemon as friends, when they do these episodes where they're trading where everyone's trading Pokemon, it feels weird. It's like, suddenly these people that we've been conditioned to treat as friends are now property.
Yeah, it is kind of odd. It's like I wouldn't trade my cat for another cat.
Right. I don't care how cool this other cat is. You're not going to trade your cat. That's weird.
Even though my cat right now is constantly distracting and trying to destroy my podcasting, I'm not going to get rid of her.
But so it is weird, and it's a tough thing for them to do in the show at this point. So I kind of wish they would just stop trying to do it, because it does come up every few seasons where they have an episode where someone's trying to trade Pokemon, and it just feels weird because
it's like to connect it with the games more, because the games have trading, so the show has to have trading. But I don't really feel like the show has to have it.
Yeah, I mean they can, but it should be like it should be some random NPCs like, I want this Pokemon, but I can't get it. Yeah, and I'm willing to trade this Pokemon, and then you don't see anything of their relationship. You don't try to paint them as being friends, and then they go out and they catch the Pokemon that he wants to trade, and Ash does not become friends with that Pokemon, and then it's just an exchange. Yep. I mean, that's the only way you could do that without it being weird, and even then, it's still kind of weird.
Yeah. No, 100% agree. One thing I realized we haven't really talked about much at all is Riolu.
Yeah,
Ash gets a Riolu as well, too.
I wanted to save Riolu for us to talk about spoilers, because Ash hatches him from an egg.
Yeah.
Which was surprising.
Yeah, which is super cool too, because I love Lucario. So I'm like really excited for Ash to get a Lucario at some point.
And I've never been overly fond of Riolu, but I like this Riolu. They made him pretty cute. Like you know, and the voice they gave him is endearing. It's very, very cute. So Riolu's cool, and then he's also working super hard. And that episode where he watches the Lucario fight, that was really cool.
I like that a lot. I think it's part of the reason I think they did it as well, and I could be wrong, but Lucario has become one of the most popular Pokemon in recent years. Like Lucario's kind of taken, Lucario's kind of taken that spot. It's the same thing with Greninja. I think it was 2018 or 19. Greninja was voted the most popular Pokemon. But I think it's cool that Ash now is going to have that Pokemon, because he's already had Greninja, he's had Pikachu, and these are all super popular Pokemon.
The other Pokemon that I wanted to touch on from earlier, without getting into spoilers, they used Mr. Mime a lot more in this series, and that's really cool, because Mr. Mime's always been fun, but they keep putting him in predicaments where Mr. Mime has to care for people and take care of them. Yeah. And he is literally the surrogate dad for Ash most of the time, which is, some people would argue, is a very weird dynamic, but I do think it provides for a lot of comedic moments, especially the one where Pikachu is running away to go spend time with Ash's mom. Yeah. And Mr. Mime follows him and keeps trying to, fix it, and keeps trying to take him back to Ash. And then once he realizes Pikachu doesn't want to go back to Ash, he finally commits to helping him get to Mrs. Ketchum's house, and I thought that was a cool episode, and it is cool, to see that they can still tell stories with Pikachu where Ash could do something to lose Pikachu if he was careless enough, because otherwise there's never any stakes with their relationship. So it was kind of cool that they brought that in.
Again, it humanizes him.
Yeah.
It humanizes Ash and shows that he's not like this perfect character. So yeah, I did like Mr. Mime a lot in this. I thought it was super cool to like have Mr. Mime be more prevalent, because Mr. Mime's been around since the beginning. With Ash's mom. Yeah. And
the other one I wanted to touch on was Sobble. He doesn't get introduced until the third part, but as he is one of the Galar starters, there's probably some people who are like attached to Sobble. Yeah. And so I just wanted to talk about that character a little bit. He's a little one note at this point.
Yeah, he cries and goes invisible.
Yeah. Okay, so 2 notes.
Yeah.
And sometimes he cries while invisible.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Even just seeing the starters for this generation when they were first announced, I've never really cared much for Sobble. And this show's not really changing my mind.
Yeah, it's not. I don't feel any more attached to Sobble after what I've seen in the show so far. I'm hoping that maybe he'll evolve quickly in this last part and he'll get to be Inteleon.
Yeah.
Because I think that's going to be the part where he can actually be kind of cool. Because he's supposed to be like James Bond.
Yeah.
So he's got to become cool eventually.
Yeah. Goes through the awkward years before becoming a cool character.
So that's all I wanted to talk about with the show.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about anything else? I mean, I guess, season 4, do you have any expectations?
No, not really. I mean, also, I won't lie and say that I didn't just see a spoiler when I was trying to look up some of the stuff. So I'm kind of excited to see how some of the stuff plays out in the next part. I assume even if it's not like, this isn't something I had spoiled for me or anything like that, but I assume that Ash will get to fight Leon again. I don't know if it'll be actually like in the Coronation League or if he'll just fight him again, but I think he'll get a rematch.
Yeah, and
if this is indeed a part.
And I expect a lot more to be in the Galar region in general. And then I expect more of part 4 to be focused on Ash than on Go.
Yeah. Have we seen a Lola in this show?
Not yet.
Because I could see that as well too.
I mean, I don't think been everywhere else, right?
Yeah. I can see them going there for sure.
Well, so let's get into our last segment of the show, because we have run long again, because we like to talk and we like to talk about Pokemon. So the last segment, rank that Pokemon. So we
don't have a cool theme yet. But.
I ran the random number generator earlier and generated Pokemon number 821. Shot in the dark, Dustin. Do you know that off the top of your head, which Pokemon that is?
I 100% had to look it up, but I know it's Rookie D.
That's right. So I'm going to pull up
Rookie D is a
Bulbapedia.
Cool ass name.
Yes, great name for a Pokemon.
Rookie D evolves into one of my favorite Pokemon of that generation.
100%. And
Corviknight is so cool.
So this brings us to a question that we're going to have to address. How much points do we give to a Pokemon for being able to evolve into a better Pokemon?
That's literally everybody that likes Eevee has to tell themselves that every time, right? That Eevee's only cool because it evolves into a better Pokemon.
Eevee is adorable in his own right. And then in Let's Go Eevee, he gets every weapon, every type attack. He has an attack for every type that you can get. That's awesome. Yeah. That's so much cooler than just getting more electric moves with Pikachu.
I don't know. So if I were to just base Rookie D not on that, I for some reason have always liked the bird Pokemon.
I do too.
And for some reason, every generation. Yeah, and so especially the ones that have 3 evolutions, like Pidgey, Pidgeotto, Pidgeot. Did Gen 2 have a 3 evolution one? Gen 3 didn't either because it was just Halo and Swellow.
Halo and Swellow. But Gen 2 did have one. What was it? No, maybe I'm thinking
it's gonna bother me.
It's gonna bother me too. You look it up.
Well, anyways, I've always kind of just been a fan of the bird Pokemon.
Because there's the Unpheasant line, and the Tranquil Unpheasant. There's that, but that's from Black and White, right?
Would I mean, I guess Natu and Xatu would technically kind of be. Oh, it's Hoot Hoot and Noctowl.
Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, they had the two.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I like bird types or flying types, and particularly the bird flying types. But also they usually end up being very useful Pokemon up until Sun and Moon, when we had to have, HMs. Having a flying type on the team,
always had to fly.
So, if you didn't want to remove one of your moves on your Charizard or something like that, you had to give fly to a bird type Pokemon.
And I guess that's kind of fair. Like, if I didn't have to have them, would I like them as much?
And I gotta say, I did not use the flying types as much in Sun and Moon, but as we established, Rookidee, I was all about because his evolutions are awesome. Corvisquire's
Rookidee going from just a flying type, exactly. So if we're not really considering too much about the evolutions, and let's just say the Pokemon itself, I love the way it looks. It's like this little derpy bird with like red eyes. Let's see. I'm trying to look up any other stats to see.
So, he's got an EV yield for speed. His shiny, it looks pretty cool. I always like to consider the shiny sprite as well, and I think that he has a decent shiny sprite. Typing is not great, though. Flying's not fantastic. And then, of course, he's not going to be usable in competitive at all. And even in terms of using him just throughout the game, he's only useful in that he eventually becomes awesome.
So then I feel like it's hard because I feel like we have to consider their evolutions.
I think we have to consider the evolutions because,
if we are, Rookie D is like a 4 for me, like a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I mean, I think because basically what we have to think is if we give Rookie D a 4, we're going to have to give Corviknight a 5 because
a 4, at least a 4, if not 4.5 or 5.
Right, because the reason we're giving Rookie D points is because of his potential.
Yeah, because Corviknight's so cool. Like, Corviknight's a Pokemon I had on my team almost, if not the entire... I think I had Corviknight all the way up through the Elite Four, and it wasn't until the DLC where I swapped out Corviknight for probably some other Pokemon, just because.
I think that I'm going to err on the side of... the air of caution here. Err on the side of caution and say 3.5 would be my vote for Rookidee. Because as far as first evolutions go, he's pretty solid. But it's really about his potential, and
I can see that. A solid 3.5 works for me.
Okay, so the question would then be: do you want to put him above Hariyama?
Yeah,
I'll agree.
I like Hariyama, but I think the potential of Rookie D outweighs Hariyama as like the final.
Hariyama at his best is not as cool as Corviknight is his best. And that's not to say necessarily in terms of competitive, but I'm definitely going to want to use Corviknight more than...
Yeah, I would... If I had to choose between Corviknight and Hariyama, it'd be Corviknight.
Well, so there we go. That's our new number 1. Rookidee, coming out strong from the Galar region.
The new boy is sitting at number 1.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts. Anything you want to say before we close out, Dustin?
Something. No, I just want to remind people to, look forward to all the cool Pokemon announcements that are coming this month with Pokemon Day coming up. And obviously, if you guys, we both have our Twitters, where you guys can always tweet at us if you have any predictions or anything like that too. We'd love to even mention them on the show. we did decide this week, it was Jeff's idea, but to start live streaming these on Twitch. So if you can catch them live, we can do that. Otherwise, YouTube.
And my Twitch is the same as my Twitter. It's at GoodGameGrizz. And I believe...
Yeah, mine is at DDanger10.
Yes, yours is the same except no underscore, or the underscore is moved?
Yeah, no underscore. There's no underscore. So, yeah, you can check us out there. And then also, YouTube podcast services.
YouTube podcast services around the globe.
Yeah. Yep. And the last thing is I'm just super stoked to have Mike on next week to predict things with us. It's going to be a blast. I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited that we started doing this in a month that is so Pokemon centric in general, with Pokemon Day being at the end of this month. It was a good idea to start when we did.
Yeah, so kudos Dustin for coming up with the idea.
Yay! Oh.
So yeah,
wouldn't be a show without you as well too, Jeff.
Well, I thank you, Dustin. But yeah, so thank you for watching. As he said, like, follow, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Really appreciate it. Tell your friends, especially your friends who like Pokemon. You can tell your friends who don't like Pokemon. Yep. We don't care who they are. We're just happy to have some people listen to us talk.
They can come watch and make fun of us. It's fine.
All right. Well, so that's it for this week. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.